everybody, I'm Sarah and this is Michala and we are Recorder Players. Today we have a very special guest on Team Recorder. I am here with the one and only Michala Petri.
Hello.
Hello.
So nice to meet you.
Oh, thank you so much. So Michala Petri is and always has been one of the leading voices in recorder playing. Michala has played with some of the main orchestras, composers, musicians all around the world and has had a very wide-ranging career spanning since the 1960s.
That's that right?
Yes. Yes.
Actually, I think if there's anything about me which is special from most others, it is that I started so early. I've always commissioned a lot of works with composers since I was a child because my parents, they were very keen on new music.
Wow.
And my first piece I commissioned, I was only 6 years old.
6 years old?
So yes, and you see, I happened to play the recorder at a time where it was not yet so common as it is today. So therefore I've been one of the leading figures.
Okay.
And I'm very happy to see today, many decades later, that so many people are doing what I have been doing many years ago already.
Fantastic.
What was special at that time is now all very, very normal and common knowledge and common way of thinking and so, so that really warms my heart. And the funny thing is also at that time I had been performing a lot of, you know, the normal standard recorder beginners pieces, but those pieces, they spoke to me in a certain way, you know, it was like they were more meaningful to me. And they hit me in a special way. I can still recall that feeling, and that I think is a little strange when I think back of it, that already at the age of 6 years I had this sort of being hit by some special music feeling.
Yeah. Was that the first time you knew that you wanted to be a musician or a recorder player?
Actually, I don't know. No, I don't think I thought of the future at that time. Yeah, I think it was, it must have been at the age 11. When I was 11, I left school after the 4th class.
Okay.
And I concentrated entirely on the recorder.
Wow.
And I started an education in Hanover in Germany. The professor was called Ferdinand Konrad, and he was one of the very few who taught the recorder at that time. And then I took my final exam when I was 17, and since then I have been performing concerts all over, playing.
Wow.
One of the things I always liked was to perform with other instruments like violins or modern orchestras and try to make the recorder do what they could do. Both my parents are musicians. My mother is a pianist and my father was a violinist.
Okay.
So I'm brought up with those two much more advanced instruments. So, and I have that in my blood somehow.
Okay. So you wanted to find that same range of dynamics, expression.
Yeah, and expression, Also the way of playing, I tried to make very legato instead of playing. I always tried to have a feeling of singing the music, you know, and playing all the notes very, very close to each other. And that means that actually when I think of playing, I don't think of the notes. I think more of the connection between the notes. You see that? It's a different approach to the playing. So if I play this phrase from the Handel F major sonata, this was a note played through, but if I think of the connections this way, you get a different feeling.
It's much more like singing.
Yeah, it is. And it transmits better to the persons listening.
Wow. What goes through your mind when you're performing on stage?
When I'm performing, I'm not thinking of the music. I'm not thinking of myself playing for the audience. I'm not thinking of the audience. I'm simply emptying my head, and then I'm trying to feel the atmosphere in the room. And really not do anything, just let happen what happens. When I perform, I almost always, I have a feeling of the shape of the room in me, It's an almost physical feeling. And when I try to adjust my playing according to the sound, I never adjust to what I'm hearing right here around me. I always adjust to what I hear coming back from the end wall. Also, I most often play by heart, if I can, because that makes me best able to get into that state if I don't have any music that takes my attention. Right. Sometimes when you play by heart, you can suddenly get in doubt how the piece continues.
Exactly.
And then I have a technique, instead of thinking panically what is coming now, then I try to think of something completely different, what I have to do for shopping tomorrow or something like that.
Yeah.
And then I hope that my fingers, who have done this so many times, they will carry me through.
Yeah, so if you don't worry so much and just let it happen.
Exactly, good life lesson.
Yeah. Can you describe what for you is one of the most memorable concerts you've played?
Keith Jarrett. A fantastic improviser on piano.
I saw your poster up there.
Yeah, that's right. Yes, it's such a fantastic memory. Wow. When I see that poster, I immediately get into that very special state he created for everybody around him. It's very focused but very open at the same time.
Do you have a favorite recorder piece?
And normally I say I don't have any favorite pieces, because the goal for me when I'm performing is not to perform a certain piece, it is to communicate with the audience. And the goal is really to show the audience in the best possible way what this piece is and what it transmits. So I don't even ask myself if I like a piece or not. The moment I say, do I like this piece or don't I like it? Then I judge it. And when I judge something, I'm a little outside. But then, since we are under colleagues, and then I can say there are some pieces I like more than others. I mean, I like anything by Bach.
Yeah. Hi. Adriana's going to join us for a while.
Yeah.
So these are some of the questions that my Instagram followers have asked. How often do you practice?
I mean, nowadays I don't even practice every day. But I play concerts regularly, 2 or 3 times a week, so I get a lot of exercise that way. When I was studying, from I was 11 until I was 17, I practiced 6 hours every day. I didn't go to school, I have to say.
So that was your school, basically?
It was my school, yes. 7:30 until 8, long notes. Next half hour, scales. Next half hour, exercises.
Wow.
Next half hour, the pieces I had to study at the time. And
wow.
So
should we try that with you, Bodil?
I would recommend not. No. I enjoyed it because I knew that was how it had to be. And sometimes I have to admit, now, so many years later, when I practiced my long notes, I didn't find it interesting all the time. And I loved to read books, so I put up a book on my music stand while I was doing those long notes. Then I thought, then I practice my body and I have something nice to think of in my mind at the same time.
Yeah, well, people watch TV when they're running in the gym, so maybe it's the same.
You are right, a very good comparison.
How do you decide which recorder to use?
The short answer is that I choose a recorder which I think can bring out best the nature of that piece. If it is a piece where I have to play with a big orchestra,
yes,
I take one of my loudest recorders. The loudest I have is of course a Breukink Eagle. Then I may change, for example, in the Vivaldi Concerto in C major, famous one. Yes. I almost always changed recorder from first to second movement.
Oh,
because the second movement is so beautiful and soft.
So it's the same size of recorder but a different sound.
Yeah, I often did that since I was young.
Oh, a short answer. One person would like to know what your favourite pasta is.
Pasta? Surprising answer. Now you can get vegetable pasta.
Yeah.
That's actually my favorite.
So do you have any tips or suggestions for young people today wanting to make a career as a recorder player?
Keep to your own nature. Don't try to be anything which you are not. Feel who you are yourself and then communicate that as much as possible to the audience.
Do you know how many pieces you have commissioned?
More than 150
wow.
at least. I mean, I ought to make a list where I know it exactly.
Yes.
Also, people sometimes ask me how many concerts I have played, and I can only estimate that it is more than 5,000 based on the fact that I have played between 100 and 120 a year for more than 50 years. So,
wow.
No, that's not quite true. For more than 43 years.
Okay.
So it must be around 5,000.
5,000 concerts. Can you tell, what are you busy with right now?
I'm starting working more seriously on what I've been wanting to do for quite a few years. Making not a transcription but a recomposing of the 6 cello suites by Bach. For recorder, yes. And I know Franz Breukink many years ago, he made a transcription. What he did is that he tried to make it as close to the original as possible. What I'm trying to do is to recompose it for the recorder. That means that I am changing things quite a lot. You know, in the first cello suite when he writes, that's very natural for a cello to do because it has a loud low string. But the Baroque recorders are soft in the low register and loud in the high register. So I tried to think of what Bach might have done if he had had a recorder. In order to make the downbeats loud, he might have changed the pattern and played. I reverse everything.
Yeah, it's really a reimagining.
It is, yeah, exactly. Yes, but it's so rewarding to do for myself, and hopefully it can be useful for others as well.
I think that's all of the interview stuff. Maybe we can play a short thing.
We should
together.
Do that. Yes.
Yeah. For watching. As always, you can subscribe to my channel by clicking on my face down here in the corner. Down here is a link to the Team Recorder Patreon where you can choose to support the channel. In the description I'm going to give you all kinds of links to all the information about Michala and her website, and up here I'm going to give a link to my first profiles video, an interview with Lucy Horsch. Thank you for watching and have a great day. Bye!